Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply. In this video is to bring you a closer look at the National Guard products number 5100N. This is a roll of neoprene seal for use on a mullion type application and is available in 86-inch and 96-inch lengths only. The 5100 is used for mullion applications, meaning you have a pair of doors with a mullion that stands behind it for the hardware configuration to be generally two rim exit devices. Those applications, you kind of have a bit of a problem when it comes to the weather stripping because the mullion is generally removable and fixing weather stripping to it is difficult because, well, you certainly have an interrupt over the exit device strike unless you've made some sort of accommodation for that. But regardless of how you weather strip that opening, having this 5100, and I have one removed from the packaging there, along the inside face of the mullion where the doors make contact per the drawing, frankly, that's below here, makes really good sense. So the 5100 is available in two lengths, 86 and 96. It's available in two material types, N for neoprene and S for silicone. I happen to like the neoprene because in my experience I get a bit longer lifespan out of it because it's a denser material in my experience, even though it's also a bit less flexible than silicone. I would probably be very apt to use neoprene in instances where these doors were not used very often because if they were, I would want the greater resiliency of the silicone to allow for the constant operation. When, you know, really the difference in thermal rating is so negligible in that area for an opening when it probably leaks in many other areas to begin with. The difference between the two isn't as important in my opinion as it would be proper door operation as well as a paramount sort of consideration. Now this is a roll of 5100N. It happens to be 96-inch. This is 1.1 wide. The thickness of the material is 3/32, so it's just going to be less than 1/8 of an inch. Has a peel-away protective paper backer. Self-adhesive is going to be on the back of this. Okay. Included in the package, other than the installation instructions, which are listed in a link below this video to a document called Installation Instructions, is a alcohol wipe, and we're going to get to that in a moment. The rest of the extended description says that this is a neoprene seal for a mullion application, 96-inch length, 3/32 thick by 1.1 wide, silicone-based material, black. Black is the only color for silicone. Pardon me, for neoprene. You'll get, if color's most important and you want black, it's neoprene only. If you want gray, it's silicone only. Fire rated. It's very, very likely that these are fire rated doors as well. You could have a gymnasium with a pair of doors and a mullion. This would be appropriately used there should you want to help retard the transmission of sound perhaps at the mullion. This isn't acoustically rated, but sure would not be a detriment to that end. I like to install this material after the hardware is attached, meaning your rim exit devices. I like to put the exit devices on after I've attached the 5100 because while that's only 3/32 of an inch, it will surely change the dimension by which the latches on the exit device are allowed to connect to the roller strikes or the strike plate for the exit device. Rim exit device strikes have elongated holes top and bottom to adjust the placement of the strike on the mullion. However, you might not have the room to move the strike back and forth, so I like to put the weather stripping on first and then exit device hardware. But take a audit of the opening prior to just peeling this material on. You don't want to be in a situation where you've installed it and now your doors don't latch. That's certainly a problem. Now, below this video, link to the installation instructions. We'll get to that in a moment. There's a link to a document called Tech Sheet, and that's handy because it will just give you an overview of the item, additional information that we won't specifically cover here, although most of it we already have. There is a link below this video to a document called Product Brochure, which is very handy because it will allow you to review the one page from the catalog where this material comes out of, which happens to have a relatively unrelated product down there, although it would fit well with the Mullion application, the corner pad. But the tear sheet is there, should you want to include that in a submittal. Okay, now moving on to the installation instructions. Installing this material is quite simple and straightforward. You don't really need installation instructions to figure out how you're going to put it on. However, there's some things that you must, or that you should know prior to just jumping right in. Step 1 in the installation instructions, and speaking from actual experience of having installed the material, clean the mullion surface of all dust, dirt, oil, grease, etc. That is absolutely crucial. Clean it. And then when you're done, clean it again. It's so crucial that they'll include that alcohol pad. If there's any particulate or anything on the frame that will impede the adhesive's ability to grab onto the base material, it's going to fail. You'll come the next day and the installation will have failed on you. So make sure it's clean, absolutely clean. No oil at all, nothing of that sort of base that will give you a fit in terms of that installation. That moves to step 2, which is the surface temperature. You're not going to want to install this material when it's cold outside. It needs to be at least 50 degrees, and I think it should be room temperature before you apply it, so please plan accordingly. Cut the seal to the proper length first. Measure, then trim, and there's a reason for that we'll get to in a moment. Cut it before you install it. Start at the top and remove protective backing, moving to step 4, 1 to 2 feet at a time, and adhere the seal to the center of the mullion face so that both doors close against it. I like to work with like a shorter amount of this exposed rather than more. I don't want to unintentionally bump it onto the mullion and have to pull it off. I like working with shorter lengths because it also helps to prevent any unintentional stretching, which is why we cut it first. Because if you're too long at the bottom, then you know you've stretched it. We'll get to that again in a moment. Shorter lengths. Step 5, firmly press down along the entire length of the weather strip onto the mullion. Do not remove and relocate. Do not stretch the seal when installing. Simply get it placed, start straight, and just lots of pressure. As much time as you can muster, the better. Just push straight down. Adjust the position of the rim exit devices, exit device strikes as required. Audit that first to make sure you're going to be able to make that work when you get this installed. Again, as you're pushing down, you don't want to push it down like this, just pressure. If you get to the bottom and it's too long, there's a problem. This material will want to seek its normal elasticity and likely be a point of failure. There's something about this adhesive where National Guard is saying do not remove and relocate. Other products that they sell, adhesive-based, do allow a very quick removal and reattachment, and even sometimes for longer periods than immediate. This material is not saying that, so that's got everything to do with the adhesive. So, pro tips, make sure the surface is ultra clean. Don't stretch it when installing it, and then you're going to have a perfect installation. I've also sold this material to people who just wanted to throw a seal onto something. I've had people add this to automotive applications like a truck cap when they wanted to not only keep a better seal happening, but the thing would tip when the truck goes down the road, and this helped just eliminate vibration and sound. A lot of areas you could use a piece of solid neoprene like this. Okay. Now, in conclusion, there is a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the ultra awesome, the National Guard products that we sell, but more helpfully is a link to their product catalog where you can review all things weather stripping from National Guard products. Their name is synonymous with weather stripping, not only adhesive-based material that you'll use very commonly in fire-rated doors to be compliant with smoke and draft control, but everything pertaining to thresholds, perimeter gasketing, door sweeps, material made of aluminum, stainless steel, architectural bronze. I'm partial to National Guard as we go along, and that partiality seems to increase because of their willingness, their eagerness to do custom products. I have sent them jobs where there's been custom welding, custom cutting and welding of solid architectural bronze thresholds to make a special width, and then polish that to like a 605 polished brass finish. And it seems like they love doing it because the product turns out spectacular. Their turnaround time in terms of customer service is industry leading. Their shipping times are also industry leading. Their technical support is exceptional. If you have any questions on the National Guard products, 5100N roll of 96-inch or 86-inch material for that matter, Neoprene, Mullion application, gasketing, or any other National Guard product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.